Jermaine Jackson stood at a Berlin film premiere in 2026, watching his own son step into the role that would define their family's legacy all over again. At 71, he was still being introduced the same way he had been for decades, as Michael's brother. But the real story of Jermaine Jackson is far more complicated and far more human than that single label ever captured. He was born on December 11, 1954, in Gary, Indiana, a steel town where factory shifts shaped daily life and two-bedroom houses held entire families. His parents, Joseph and Catherine Jackson, filled that crowded home with music. Joseph carried ambitions from his earlier days in rhythm and blues. Catherine brought harmony and piano. Together, they lit a fire in their children that would eventually change American music forever. Jermaine was actually the first lead singer of what would become the Jackson 5. He was the one out front before anyone else. But as younger brother Michael developed an almost supernatural command of rhythm, phrasing, and audiences, the group naturally reorganized around him. Jermaine shifted to co-lead vocals, harmonies, and bass. Not because he lacked talent, but because the music demanded it. He learned early what many performers never accept. Sometimes the most essential role isn't the one with the brightest spotlight. The group's Motown years were extraordinary. 4 consecutive #1 singles. Television appearances that made the whole country stop and stare. 5 black boys from a Midwestern steel town, entering mainstream America with precision, joy, and undeniable force. Jermaine was right there. His warm, lower voice giving depth to Michael's soaring urgency. Most memorably, in the tender call and response of, "I'll be there." Then came 1975, and one of the most defining decisions of his life. When his brothers left Motown for Epic Records, Jermaine stayed. His wife was Hazel Gordy, Berry Gordy's daughter, and his loyalty to the label that had carried the family from Gary to global fame ran deep. His brothers went on to release albums like Destiny and Triumph. Jermaine watched from a separate professional road. An empty chair at the press conference announcing the split became one of the most lasting images of his career. His answer came in 1980. With Stevie Wonder's help, he recorded Let's Get Serious, a mature, confident funk record that reached #9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earned a Grammy nomination. He had proven that his name alone could carry a record. His personal life, however, grew increasingly complicated. Multiple overlapping relationships and a growing family across different households painted a picture of a man navigating genuine human failings alongside his professional life. He later wrote candidly about the growing distance between himself and Michael, a distance that became permanent when Michael died on June 25, 2009. It was Jermaine who stepped before the hospital microphones to deliver the news to the world. He had spent decades trying to be heard separately from his brother. In that moment, it was his voice the world needed to confirm Michael was gone. He published a memoir in 2011, continued recording, and in 2024 lost his brother Tito, shrinking the historic 5-man lineup to 3. Then in 2026, his son Jafar took on the role of Michael in a major biographical film, completing a circle no one could have scripted. Jermaine Jackson was never erased. He was simply too often measured against a summit most artists never approach. His story deserves to be heard on its own terms. If it moved you, leave a like and subscribe. It genuinely helps.